Do you find audiences different now? You've been through eight. This is your 8th tour.
Well, in the States, I would say that you cannot tell that. For instance, I was told that the public in Houston, because it's Texas, they are tough and they are not so romantic. I thought it was a fantastic public.
Yeah.
And I think that the people who are going to see Mime, or the people who go to the theater, have a conscience of wanting to see theater. And they know exactly what they're going to see. And this is why in every town there is a minority which loves art and theater poetry. But this year has been very rewarding because we noticed that we had really the average man, I would say, the people who would not go to the theater especially, who came, you know, people who, because they saw me maybe on television, on talk shows, and they were maybe frightened at the beginning. A man who doesn't talk, what can you do, you see? And suddenly they realized that mime, like music, like acting, it's a medium, a way of communication which is very important today, because we live a very visual world. And I think it has become part of show business, if you want to put it this way, in America. And I was even surprised to see that there are at least 40 mime groups emerging in the States, in campuses. And, you know, in San Francisco you have Mamako, you have people who are very important in mime. They do a wonderful job. And in other towns there is a man called Joel Walker who worked with De Croutou, is teaching mime. And people, young people especially, are beginning to be trained in mime, and they're trained for ballet now. Well, it's picking up.
Well, what is mime, or how does one train for
Well, what mime is a very, it's a very ancient form of art, of course. And I would say that mime has existed as long men have existed, because the need of representing the life of man, of portraying the characters, has built up with society, of course. But I would say that the first mimes were in primitive societies, the first dancers who represented religious symbols, they expressed their superstitions, they worshipped gods, they put on masks. And later, among the Greek and Roman civilization, especially the Greek one, it started in Greece, the first mimedramas. The Greek mimes were very tremendous. I don't know how they played, because they did not leave any style, no film, no television. And the Romans, there were 6,000 mimes in Rome, only in Rome. They were political, very strong. They made satires about the Senate. You can imagine that, you know. And
did they like the Senate?
Well, they were very controversial, and there were some mimes who have been exiled from the Senate.
But why mime?
Why? Because they don't talk.
Why without
words? Well,
words?
because they don't talk. Then they cannot compromise too much in the sense that they would show. And after I say, what did you say? I said nothing. They showed it. And people could feel it in their heart. And they could become very satirical. Because just even later in the Shakespearean period, in the fair theater, the mimes were very important because they were representing the little men, the underdogs, the people who get coup de pied or derrière, the French word, who get kicks, you know, and can't express themselves. And through the art, they could cry out in silence, of course. And don't forget that the mimes have been very prosperous under the emperors in Rome, under Napoleon, and through the French Revolution in 1789. The greatest mime in the 19th century was Pierrot, with a white face,